What's going on, guys? Pepperbella here, bringing you some more Chivalry Medieval Warfare, playing as the Mason Order on the recreated, newly built Battlegrounds from the original Age of Chivalry game. And I gotta tell you, this map looks about 1,000 times better than the original Age of Chivalry version of Battlegrounds, simply because now there's team objectives, it's much bigger, and obviously because there's more detail put into it. Like, I mean, you can see there's far more graphical features going on than this plain old, just desolate looking desert with occasional, like, wooden spikes, and somehow you can walk across a bridge that has no boards on it, because you float in the air, which I guess you can do in medieval times. And, in this one, there's none of that. It's all, like, really cool objective based. You gotta go burn the wheat, you gotta burn the granary, and then you have to assault the shit out of it. And I don't know what happens when you get inside. I don't really remember. I don't think anyone's ever actually gotten past blowing open. Yeah, I have never actually played a game where someone successfully managed to blow up the door and get in. I think. I actually have no recollection of what happens when you do so. I'm not sure if this is the map where you get in there and you have to, like, push the dead bodies in. That's not the same map. But basically, it's pretty great. But yeah, anything, going on to what I was going to talk about, some of the things I wanted to mention are some of the issues this game has. Now, in my last video, I was kind of like, this game is awesome, this game is awesome, that's it, that's all you need to hear, you know, like, just that's all I gave you guys to go on. But, and I did give you a few, like, issues with, like, the infinite loading screen that it has, and all this, like, weird problems and weird glitches and stuff, which you'll see in this video as well, because later on in this video, you'll see a pronounced amount of, like, artifacting and weird shit going on. And doesn't take away from the game. I mean, it's really easy to ignore because I'm not going to be staring at the sky going, hey, look, there's a boulder that came out of a catapult that's somehow just floating above the castle and won't go anywhere. Let me stare at that for the entire duration of the 20-minute game. Like, no, obviously I'm not going to, it's not a game-breaking thing. I want to run in there and just want to decapitate people. I don't care. Like, that's all I want to do in this game. That's what this game is for. And I mean, you can just see, like, I love how detailed, just even this right here, like, just seeing his armor, and you can smack his helmet off, and how shiny it is in the sun. The sun rays are shining through the clouds and through the trees, and, you know, got the god rays going on, just like the graphics, and just everything just looks awesome. Like, it's really, really good cinematic experience, and there are a few things they could do to improve it, like making the animation look significantly better. Well, not like significantly, like it's completely fucked now, but I mean, like, they could make it look a little bit nicer, because when people tend to dance around each other, because I'd never see someone standing toe-to-toe with someone, just standing there and gonna fight. Like, in a real medieval battle, you don't see people fucking circle strafing around guys, like, swinging swords, you know, like, sword battle with their cocks, you know, like, you're not gonna see people doing that in real life. But in this game, that's all that happens. People are, like, backing up, turning around, doing a 360 to see what's behind them, and then, like, coming back, and, you know, like, they do all this crazy, like, on-foot shit that doesn't happen. And as you can see, even just going with this guy, we're pretty much just going back and forth, but now I'm trying to, like, evade two people. I don't remember if I killed them all successfully or what happens. Oh, I died. Shit. Anyway, basically, if they made the foot animations look a little bit better, because one thing I noticed is when people swing or dodge or whatever, their feet will get, like, in that, you know, defensive stance or offensive stance, and they'll just kind of slide, like, glide across the ground a little bit. And it's not a big feature, it doesn't really ruin the game, because that's not what I'm looking at anyway when I'm in the middle of, you know, I'm trying to watch where his weapon is, I'm trying to, like, gauge his body language, which I find this game does really well, is that there's actually body language you can read from the player, and you can kind of gauge out how he's going to react to you, what his plans are, his intentions, how he thinks he's going to kill you. And although I'm not doing, like, phenomenal right now, later on I've actually gotten, like, really, really good with playing as a knight, and the knight's, like, my primary character. Like, the vanguard I'll jump in every once in a while just because he has a really awesome battle cry, but that's pretty much it. Like, men-at-arms I'm not really good at, you know, like, going in there with, like, dodging and shit. I try to do it and I get knocked down instantly, but just a crusader, I'm really good at timing I like to call it a claymore, but it's a two-handed sword. Just, it reminds me of claymore because I'm thinking of, like, you know, movies with massive two-handed swords. But you get really used to the timing and how, like, your character feels and plays. Now, another thing I would like them to also fix would be, like, the kicking. Now, there's nothing wrong with it aside from the fact that it kind of has a jerkiness motion to it, and you have to be, like, really, really close to the guy. Like, I would like to be able to have somewhat, not too much, but a little bit more reach with the kick, because for some reason it seems like the kick which your foot's probably as long as your sword. Maybe not exactly, but you know, like some swords, I mean, they're in the same area, kind of. But for some reason, like, your foot just has like very minimal reach. Like, you have to be practically humping his leg to finally get a good kick on him, which kind of it kind of makes it hard to, you know, gauge when you should use it, because sometimes you'll think you're close enough and you're right there and you're like, all right, I'm gonna go in for a kick now and totally kick his ass. And then when you kick, nothing happens, and then you're wide open, and then he just fucking, you know, cuts you down instantly, and you're kind of just like, well, shit, whatever. Or you'll see them kick you, and then they're way, like, behind, like, you can see them. To them, they probably look like on their screen that they hit you, because sometimes your foot looks like it's about to collide with them. But then when you're actually the enemy watching them do it, you kind of just stare at them, and there's, like, this huge gap between his foot and you, and you're kind of just like, ha, nice try, and you, like, charge in there and stab him in the face. And sometimes you kill him, sometimes you don't, because, you know, sometimes it's an instant kill, depending on who you're fighting, and how their whatever is. Another thing I started noticing a little bit more, I don't know why that guy's just sitting there letting me kill him. Another thing I kind of noticed recently is that the stamina bar. Now, I haven't really focused on that. I've never actually really paid attention to the stamina bar, because I've never actually gotten to the point where I've ran out of stamina bad enough that I was like, oh shit, you know, like I need to worry about it. Like, but there have been a few cases, especially when playing as a Vanguard, that you can spam all your stamina away very easily, and then you're kind of just left there like shit. Like, it doesn't interfere, like, it's not like Age of Chivalry, which I absolutely love, where if you run out of stamina, your guy's just like, makes really weird noises, and he just can't, like, he's taking a shit, and he can't move suddenly, and he just, like, every time you try to swing, it'll make, like, a weird armor motion, he'll, like, twitch, like, I can't move, but you can somehow walk around perfectly fine, and there's no way you can, like, fight back. No way you can dodge, no way you can block or anything. In this game, you can block, you can still do all those things, only this time it actually takes away health. So, like, it'll daze you, kind of. Like, it won't actually take away your health, I'm not sure exactly, but if you block and you have 0 stamina left, and you manage to get a successful block, it'll, like, completely stumble you. You'll be like, oh shit, I'm so weak. And you, like, try to, like, swing in slow motion at him while he's just kind of looking at you, and he blows and pushes you with his index finger, and you fall over and die. But, basically, like, they incorporated a lot of things into this game. Sweet decapitation. Beauty. But they incorporated a lot into this game, and I really think that if they, you know, excel and just keep going with, like, you know, take the players' feedback, that's what the beta's for. I've been reading around the forums a lot. People came up with a lot of ideas. Like, I know I saw recently today, someone was talking about being able to choose the direction you want your combo to start in. Now, that I agree completely with, because I was talking in my last video about how if you're pinned up against a wall and you're, you know, right-handed or whatever, and, well, you're always right-handed, duh, but, like, how your weapon actually has real-time collision with objects in the world, and it can kind of get frustrating sometimes, because, like, it's like you're crushed into, like, this tiny little corner, and you're trying to swing your sword, and you can't, so you're pretty much fucked, right? Like, that's what ends up happening. I mean, if someone's fighting you, and you're on the right side of the walls on your right side, and you're trying to go for a swing, and his right side is completely open because it's his left side that's against the wall, and you try to go for a swing and you hit the wall and he can swing perfectly at you, and you're just like, god damn it, and the only thing you can really do is do an overhead or a stab, and we all know the overhead takes too long and the guy at you leaves you way too open for him to fucking kill you. And then stabbing is great, but I mean, like, he can easily parry it, because once you see a stab coming, it's one of the easiest ones to parry, in my opinion. And basically, it just gets really annoying, but being able to choose which direction you want your swing to start from would definitely help. Now, I'm not sure exactly how realistic that would make it, because in reality, if you're holding the sword to your right side, and that's your combat stance, and you're going to switch to swing to your left, you gotta wrap it, you know, more around your body. Instead of just immediately going to wind it up, you have to actually shift your arms to your left side of your body, and then start to wind it up, and then swing. So, like, it's kind of like, I guess they can make it a little bit of a slower start, kind of like an overhead swing, just to kind of balance out that the left side, because I mean, you got to think of realism here too, because they're not trying to make this, they wanted to have a perfect balance between realism and arcade, like, type stuff. They didn't want to have it, like, super realistic, like, simulator, or they didn't want to have it, like, super arcade, where people are, like, 360 no-scoping with fucking crossbows and shit, you know what I mean? Like, that's just not what they're gonna do. Have, like, laser sights on your sword or something, that'd be pretty sick, right? Like, you can fucking, there'd be no point to it, I don't even know why. But see, there's an idea of, like, a kick right there, you know, like, the first kick was a complete fuck-up. And this is actually a pretty great battle. I mean, Like, I really enjoy and like it, and look at that, I finished him off. How fucking sweet was that? But it makes me appreciate when you're in a battle with a whole bunch of people, and you go up to one guy and you do like a taunt, you know, like a battle cry, and you point your sword right at him, and he looks at you, and everyone else fucks off. And I mean, like, they literally just, like, everyone sees you do that, and they're like, oh, okay, these guys are gonna, like, fucking duke it out. And everyone else fucks off, and they let you duel each other, and people actually, like, some people have the respect to do that. Like me, sometimes I'm kind of a dick, and I'll see two people fighting, and I'll be like, ah, charging from behind, and, like, stab the guy in the back, like, finish him off with a blow, and he has no way of defending it, you know what I mean? It's kind of cheap. But, like, it's really, really great when you see two people actually able to fight it out, or they let you fight it out. They don't interfere, they kind of just want to see, like, who... you know, who's actually the better fighter, and I love shit like that, when you guys just go back and forth, exchanging blows. That's what this game is about to me. It's about showing skill, reaction time, all the things that are really involved in a realistic medieval combat scenario, where, like, that's how it's going to be. It's going to be coming down to who has better skill, better management of your strength and stamina, and all this awesome shit just to enhance, like, to see who can, you know, overwhelm your guys and just overwhelm your opposition and kill them. And when you're taking on multiple guys at once like this, where I'm, like, fucking screwed pretty much. I'm pretty sure I die. I don't remember exactly. I'm 100% I die. I don't know. I kill one guy, and then we go, yeah. That's what ends up happening a lot now. I'll be able to, like, kill one off or two off, and then, like, the other 13 are, like, converge on my position and just completely, like, turn me into most meat. Grind me up in, like, fucking stuff and eat me. Actually, that's something like the Mason would do. Yeah, like... that's just, Mason Order is badass as fuck, man. Like, I never play as a Gatha. You will never, ever see me play as a Gatha. Well, I will, occasionally, but I'm telling you, it's extremely rare just because I love the Mason Order, primarily because of their battle cries. And their armor, and they're more, like, evil, and they have red, black, and, you know, like, they're awesome. Like, the Gatha to me are, like, I find their battle cries are not too aggressive. Like, I love the aggressiveness of the Mason Order. Like, the Gatha are just sitting there, and they're like, they'll have a battle cry like, I'm going to plant my garden after I'm done this battle. You know, like, planting flowers, while, like, the Mason Order's like, yeah, I want to rape your wife. You know, like, it's just, it's so much funnier and more aggressive when you're playing as a Mason Order, and you're just, like, some of their battle cries are just, like, 30-second screams at the top of their lungs, and it gets you, like, revved up. You're, fucking kill shit. You know, like, want to run in there and just decapitate everyone and eat the insides of their throats. Wow. You can see I'm kind of going crazy. This game's going to make me a psycho killer in real life, which I don't really care, because that's kind of my job. You know, I'm supposed to be in the army and aggressive and all that shit. But basically, like, just everything in this game is fantastic. I love how they have really, really good battle cry systems. They have really good voiceovers. And it sounds authentic when you're fighting a battle. What I would actually like to see more of in the final release of the game is just more battle cries. I remember seeing that he mentioned one of the developers, he was like, they have a ton of battle cries, like, they're like, we did something over, like, 200, like, lines or whatever, like, but I've only heard the same, like, 10 over and over again, always recycled. Every character has their own battle cry, I understand that, and they have their own voices, but it would be nice to be able to, like, have 1,000 battle cries, you know, just, like, so everyone's screaming something different. It's more frequently, like, being screamed, because, like, honestly, when you run into, like, an area and everyone's just, like, yelling and, like, charging at the enemy, and, like, you just hear metal clashing and guts spraying everywhere, and people just hitting each other, and it's just carnage. Like, it feels really awesome. It seems like you're playing in a movie-type cinematic experience, which is what this game does really well, I find. I feel like every time I play this game, I feel like I'm in the middle of, like, some action movie. Like, I'm in the middle of Gladiator 300 or Troy or something, like, really cool. Or, like, Ironclad now. The only scene I remember from that movie is when he takes a claymore and cuts right down the center of the guy's, like, shoulder, which was fucking amazing. But, that's what this, like, game reminds me of. It's just a dark, gritty, gruesome, super aggressive fighting. Like, the only way this game can get any better is if I was in the game myself for real, so I can actually, like, freaking physically get angry at someone and cut his head off, you know what I mean? Like, that's the only way it can get better, because right now it's pretty much at its peak. Like, it's fantastic how aggressive you can play this game, and how the strategies and skills definitely are, you know, what wins you a match against a specific person. And also knowing how the enemy performs. I killed the developer. Haha, bitch. But basically, you can definitely tell how when an enemy performs a very specific way, like when you learn the weapon classes and how certain weapons or how certain classes with certain weapons, how they like perform, you know, how like their typical combat scenario is like their most typical way they're gonna play that character, and you can kind of gauge and see how they do it. Whenever you do, you can kind of like counteract it. So like we all know men-at-arms kind of like to be in your face and swing a lot. Like I know the developer Tiberius Bane, Steve Piggott, he's obsessed with that. That's like the one way I die all the time. Like I'll be sitting here just kind of like in a corner, like, you know, admiring the view, and I'm like, oh, you made a beautiful game. He's like, thank you, and it smashes my head in like 30 times with like a mace. I'm sitting there like, well, what the fuck, man? I gave you a compliment. You know, like, be nicer. But he doesn't care because he's just, I mean, I wouldn't care honestly. If I was in his position, they'd be like, ha, free kill, you know? Like, this guy's a loser, chopping his head, you know, like, but that's just the way I noticed it. Like, every character has, like, I mean, I'm fighting this guy right now, he's a knight, and he's got like his, see, like, you can tell right there, I took advantage of the fact that he was going for a combo swing, but the fact that he was backing up while he was like starting up his second swing, I was like, as he's doing that, I can just fit my sword in really quickly and kind of slice his wide open stomach while he's in the middle of like trying to, you know what I mean? So it really depends on how you go about approaching a battle, how you go about, you know, actually winning the battle. There's a lot involved in the combat mechanics, and like I'm pretty sure that even with just a 3-button melee is pretty great. And even with a 360 controller, I even plugged in an Xbox 360 controller. I was playing on this map not long ago. I posted second in the boards. Tiberius Bane, the developer, was in first place. I was in second, right behind him. And I was playing with an Xbox 360 controller the entire time. Now, I wanted to try it out because I remember seeing in a video that when he was at GDC or one of the PAX, pretty sure it's PAX, yeah. And they were playing with 360 controllers. I was like, I want to see if it works. So I have a wireless one and a wireless receiver for my PC. So I decided I was gonna, just turn it on and boom, go. And you don't have to restart the game. So a lot of PC games, for some reason, like I have to restart the game because it's stupid like that. It's like it doesn't register it until I reboot the game with the controller on. It's like, fuck off, that's some bullshit. This game didn't. I can turn it off, turn it on anytime I want, and it runs perfectly. I can just pick it up and go. And it's great because, like, pretty sure it has to do with the engine as well, but basically it actually runs smooth, like the right triggers for your normal swing and do combos, the right bumper is an overhead, the left bumper is a stab, and the left, it's kind of like, if you guys are familiar to Skyrim, picture the same thing except add 2 more additional combat mechanics to the bumper, like to the bumpers basically, and then just like B's to cancel your swing. So if you're in the middle of swinging and you want to feint one, you can, you do that, you fake a swing by pressing B. Crouching is a little bit retarded to me though, because you press down a D-pad and up, so I mean, like, the fact that you can actually dodge a swing by crouching, I've done it a few times, on very rare occasions, because I mean, if a guy's like swinging low, obviously you're not going to be like, oh, duck, so then your head gets decapitated. Like, you're not going to do that. I mean, I'd rather like get hit in the main bulk of my armor where I can take some damage and get my head like ripped right the fuck off. So basically, the only way that I ever went about like dodging like going for a crouch dodge when the guy's on a little bit of an elevated position from me and I could see his sword starting to swing high, and I'm like, haha, duck underneath and poke him in the penis, and he dies or doesn't, depending on how. It all depends on the health and whatnot and how good you get him. And so the controller works really, really well. One thing I would love to see them do as well is to incorporate a more advanced control scheme like in the game, so you can actually choose the controls better, especially for the Xbox 360 controller, because I know a lot of people are like, well, I'd rather play with the keyboard and mouse, but there are people who like to just sit back and relax and enjoy a game on a bigger screen TV. And I mean, honestly, I play this on the 32-inch TV, that's attached to my, I have that on, as a PC, like, monitor, and it makes me wonder, like, people that like to play this on, like, 50-inch TVs or, like, even projector screens, like, this would be a really awesome game to see with, like, 7.1 surround sound in your room, like with a massive projector screen or something, and just going around, just all the carnage and the screaming and the yelling and decapitating and killing, and just like catapults going off everywhere, explosions, like not explosions of actual explosions, but you know what I mean, like just the rocks hitting shit, blowing up, and like it's such a good game. The ambient noises in this game are awesome, and I mean, it can only get better. That's the way I look at it. It can only get better. They can only make improvements. Like I know Tiberius Bane was saying in the conversation sometimes that he was like, he was really embarrassed by. The developers were embarrassed by some of the flaws that, like, spontaneously, not all of them were spontaneous, but like some of the flaws that were just in the beta, that they were really embarrassed about it. But to be honest, like, I couldn't care less. It's a fucking fantastic game. No one's ever done anything like this that I can think of. Mount & Blade doesn't count, so fuck off. And this is like a really, really good game. Another thing I would like them to fix too is when the game ends. And you're going to see that happening shortly. And I left it in specifically to show you guys, because normally I like to edit out like weird glitches like that. Basically, the game will just suddenly come to a spontaneous end. And like it'll show the scoreboard for like half a second and then it ends. It's really frustrating because, you know, what are you going to do? Like, and then it kind of goes into the next loading screen, but basically the video's over from now on, so you're going to be hearing a black screen with me talking. But that's basically the gist of what happens. It happens quite a bit. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to rate the video, comment the video, and subscribe if you want to see more in the future. I'll be releasing more Chivalry Medieval Warfare this week. I'll be trying to come out with a video every day if possible, because I'm playing this game nonstop. I already have 20 hours logged into this game. So, yeah, buddy. Take care, guys.